Alright, in this recording I will finish the 2.3 lesson on, it's a review of linear equations. Anyway, it says here the point-slope form of a line is, so let's see, first of all, that is the point-slope form, and it's used to write an equation for a line. So that's the thing you want to remember about the point-slope form. It's used to write equations. All the other stuff we've done, normally we've been asked to graph some equation, and now we're going to give you some information and you have to come up with the equation of the line. So it says point-slope form is used to write an equation for a line given a point on the line and the slope of the line. So the slope is m and the point we're calling x1, y1. And so y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 is the point-slope form. And notice its name tells you what you need to use it, a point and a slope, point-slope form. So it says here, write the slope-intercept form of the line that passes through the given point and has the given slope. Begin by writing a point-slope equation for the given information. So notice we need to write the slope-intercept form. That's the y equals mx plus b form. So basically we got to solve for y. But we're going to start by using the point-slope form. Oops, I guess I did that twice. There we go. So let's start with the point-slope form, and let's plug in our numbers. Now notice our point, we call it x sub 1, y sub 1, is negative 5, 1, and our slope is negative 2. So it's y minus y1, which is the y value of our point, equals the slope, which is negative 2, times x minus the x value of our point. In this case, that would be negative 5. Notice we are subtracting a negative there. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of that minus and negative. Sometimes students will distribute all in one, and I just find that often they make a mistake when they do that. I just would encourage you to go ahead and write it as addition, and now let's distribute. So we'll get a minus 2x and a minus 10 on the right side. And the only thing left to do at this point is to add 1 so that we can get y by itself. And so you get y is equal to negative 2x minus 9. Alright, so if you want, you could stop the video and try doing the other one and see if you don't forget to solve for y. Alright, so let's see. First of all, let's write the point-slope form. And we have a point and a slope, so we can just plug those right in. So notice our x1, y1 is 3 and 7 here, and our slope's 2/9, so it's going to be y minus 7 is equal to 2/9 times x minus 3. So on the right side, we're going to need to distribute. It'll be 2/9 x minus, and we've got to multiply 2/9 times 3, so let's do that. So I'm going to write it over 3 over 1, and we just multiply across. That's how we multiply fractions. And we get 6 over 9, which reduces to 2/3. And so this is 2/3 here. 2/9 times a minus 3 is going to give you minus 2/3. And we've got one more step. We need to add 7 to both sides. So on the left, we'll just get y. And on the right, we'll have 2/9 x. We've got to combine a 7 and a minus 2/3. I'm going to do that off to the side here. So we need a common denominator to subtract fractions. So let's write the 7 over 1. And we need a 3 in the denominator, so let's multiply the denominator by 3. Now in order to keep things legal here, we got to multiply the numerator by 3. And so this becomes 21/3. Notice that 21/3 is still 7, it's just now we have a denominator of 3. So it'll be 21/3 minus 2/3, which is 19/3, and so that'll be plus 19/3. Alright, I would encourage you to look at number 10 and see if you can solve that one. Keep in mind that you're going to start with the point-slope form, and you're going to need to find the slope, but since you have 2 points, you ought to be able to do that. Alright, so let's do this. So we're going to write the slope-intercept equation. So again, at the very end, we'll solve for y and put our equation in the y equals mx plus b form. So I'm going to go ahead and write that point-slope form. Remember, if I have to write an equation, this is where I'm going to start. But we need a slope. We have 2 points. We only need 1. But we don't have the slope, so let's use the 2 points to find the slope using the slope formula. So let's see, we've got our first point, x1, y1, and our second point, x2, y2. So it's going to be y2, which is 3, minus y1, which is going to be negative 1. So be careful there, we are subtracting a negative. In the denominator, we'll have 4 minus 8. And so this becomes 3 plus 1, or 4, over 4 minus 8, which is negative 4, and that's going to be negative 1. So you can use either of these points. I'm going to go ahead and use the point 4, 3. So we're going to use a slope of negative 1, and the point 4, 3 is going to be our x1, y1 for the point slope form. It really doesn't matter which one we use. I'm just using 4, 3 because they're both positive. Makes things a little bit easier. And it doesn't matter which call, over here we were calling that the first point, but it doesn't really matter. We can choose either of these, and x sub 1, y sub 1 is what these values are going to be. So let's go ahead and do that. It's going to be y minus 3 is equal to our slope, which is negative 1 times x minus 4. And let's go ahead and distribute on the right. And we need to add 3 to both sides. And so your final answer is y equals minus x plus 7. All right, and that's the end of this lesson.